Hi, welcome back to my channel, Magic Soul Nicole. Thank you guys so much for everything I've been hearing and getting from you guys. So much love, so much feedback, and all good or so encouraging and hopeful. It's been awesome. So, like I said, just want to let you know that anyone that has reached out, it's been just very affirming for me. I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing making this YouTube. I'm just like a 43-year-old woman who's never done anything like this. And I had a lot of fears, and that's the kind of stuff I'm trying to, not teach, but tell you guys how I've kind of overcome those things. So just making this YouTube in itself was part of my shadow work, part of my work in overcoming my own, fears and problems. So, having people reach out to me was awesome. I had people reach out that I would never have expected to reach out. That was like a really rewarding thing as well. So, two examples are just one, men, several grown men, just reaching out and being vulnerable about some of these things that they've never wanted to look into or talk about. I think that some people that watched my first video were just people that I've, friends, family, people I've known through my life. And so a lot of just grown men that would never have sought out content like that or like I'm doing were like, wait, like, they're just thinking of something that they don't usually let themselves think about. So I did kind of trigger that in them a little bit, or helped that, help that happen, which makes me feel great. So that was my goal. Another example of a really kind of cool thing that happened was that a person in an older generation reached out to me and told me that they've never understood how to receive love and that they've never loved themselves. Talked about some traumas they've had and just said that they've never wanted to look at it because it's painful, obviously. So they said that they're ready now. They're like, I guess it doesn't matter if I'm not young. I mean, I could still like understand some of these things and feel better. And I was like, yes, like that's amazing. Exactly what I was hoping to do. So once again, it's just very reaffirming, and I'm very thankful. I'm hoping to have it out a little bit faster than a month between each time, but I'm trying to find my own groove and, rhythm, and everything's troubleshooting, as you can tell with my editing skills and my little fancy set, just sitting in a bedroom in my house. So it's just kind of funny, but it's going to get better and better. But the point is, I just want the content to matter. I just want you guys to feel like, something's resonating or helping you about watching this. So pyrotechnics, action scenes to come, but not for a while. So I'm gonna now just get to my second episode. I just wanted to say all my little thank yous. But the second episode right now is going to be about being your own superhero. So ways to rescue yourself, the most empowering moves I've made to make my life better, to rescue myself from all those things I was just living with inside of me. So the first thing that I have started to do a lot, I do it all day, every day. Sounds exhausting, but once it becomes habit, it's like, it's fun, and you could do it. And that is trusting your instincts. Trusting your instincts doesn't just mean, so think about instincts for a minute. I think now in today's society where we're so covered with noise, right? I think that instincts to people mean what keeps you safe, like your safety. So if you say like trust your instincts, I almost always took that as like trust your instincts about not going with the wrong person, or trust your instincts about staying safe, or those kind of things. And instincts are for obviously help, saving yourself and being free, catching yourself or escaping danger, and all that stuff. But instincts are, if you think about animals in the wild, instincts are not just for safety. Instincts are how they flow through life. Instincts are how they communicate. Instincts are how they hunt. Instincts are how they, communicate to hunt, work together. So everything down to the little intricacies that I think we can never as humans understand, because their senses are so strong because they don't have anything covering everything up. And they've never been told not to trust their instincts because that's just what they do. So basically, it's about the more you use your instincts and the more you're trusting all these little feelings, all these little whispers, when you get goosebumps, when you hear ringing in your ears, every little instinct you get when you start paying attention, it helps your life flow. I wish I could explain the feeling with words of really kind of having moments where you realize how in touch you are with instincts, that it's almost like creepy, but it's amazing. So think about that. Like I said, think about animals in the wild. They use their smells, they use their sight, they use every instinct all the time. Also, when we're talking about instincts, I want you to think about ancient man or ancient wisdom, early man. Basically, I think it's cool when I hear about and look into old cultures, old religions, ancient man, all kinds of stuff like that. And the reason why is because it's fascinating that someone on one, or some group of people on one part of the globe and a group of people on another part of the globe who never had any idea about the other, all found similar ways to do things, make things, survive, and find purpose in life, whether spiritually, through nature, or anything like that. It's kind of interesting how they all came up with different metaphors for the same basic universal truth. So the fact that two different cultures or groups of people on the other side of the planet can identify with all of these things, it shows you that they weren't taught what to not know. So yeah, that was my quote. This is my quote. There's a lot to know when you aren't taught anything to know. I was like trying to just explain it the other day, and I was like, I guess that's like kind of cheesy, but I feel like we're taught what to know and what not to trust. So think about how busy the world is nowadays. So our nervous systems and our bodies were not meant to know about every single horrifying thing happening on this whole planet at all times. We are all so overwhelmed and anxious and stressed and just boggled down, because it's like we are beings that are meant to be, in touch with what's around us, and all of that kind of stuff is so hurtful to the whole system. And that doesn't mean we all should turn a blind eye to everything. I mean, there's just definitely a fine line in between. It's really become a valuable tool for me this year to be able to observe things a lot more than absorb things. I don't let things always get into me. It's just, if that's a way to describe it, I really feel like it radiates off of me. So yeah, think about animals are in touch with their instincts. Think about ancient man, how they were in touch with their instincts. Think about how we're not meant to hear and know so much, and how there's so much involved in our intricacies of our instincts and nervous systems, and how it's so covered up and it's just overwhelming for us. So I guess that the best way to start listening to your instincts is going to be to break out of your daily autopilot. So that's going to be my next step we talk about, breaking out of your daily autopilot. I did talk about in the last episode being aware of a lot of things, and that's it's kind of going more with that. The first few months I really just kind of had my whole, breakdown, and just started just meditating and just absorbing information, everything I could do. I just really started digging deep into myself. I started to question everything. I started to, every move I made that was just a daily move that I always did, like clockwork, the way I went to work, what I woke up and did, woke up and had a cup of coffee, drove this route to work, everything that I had been doing, I specifically asked myself what I wanted to do. Like, do I want a cup of coffee today? Or do I want tea or milk or water or not? And Most days it was coffee, and it's okay. It's not about having to make a change. If that's what you want to do every day, that's okay. But it's about asking yourself. And that's kind of a weird example, but that's just like the start of your day thing. So for me, I did that. But it is so important just to try as much as you can to get out of that. Next, if I was driving, I tried to take a few different routes to work. But mainly what I did is that if I ever just like noticed a street or a certain turn I haven't taken before, and maybe plenty of times in my life I drove by that spot and was like, wonder what's down there, but never went and looked. I just started looking, so I just start taking a whole new route. I'd start just taking streets I didn't know what was down there, and I started finding things, finding new ways to go, finding new businesses and new places. It just made me aware. It really did. It made me more aware of just my everyday, my every move. Noticing your triggers is a huge one, and that's the biggest step. I feel like what really starts your healing is identifying your daily triggers, because those are the things that are deeply rooted in you, and a lot of that stuff is also part of your daily autopilots and stuff. The only thing we're guaranteed is like right now. So the more you can observe everything right now, the more everything starts to be synchronistic. So focus on the present, focus on now. Try to keep looking around for any kind of whispers, any kind of signs, any kind of thought. I wonder what's down there, and going with it. Really doing things like that change things. It really does. A lot of us live with anxiety. So for a second, let's talk about anxiety. Like I was saying before about all the extrasensory things of knowing about everything in the whole world, it's also a part of anxiety because that's a worry, right? That's a stress about our future. Anytime you're having anxiety, it means that you're worrying about the future, or it's not this exact moment in time, because right now in this moment is present. So anytime you're having anxiety, it's some sort of trigger reaction worrying about the future. Lots of times it's because you've had something happen over and over and over and over, and when you get that feeling, that's the reaction. And so stuff like that. I had some really bad anxiety, postpartum anxiety, and I remember I would be so worried I was really worried that something bad would happen to my kids. Like I was worried to take them out because what if we got in a car crash? Or just like I'd have a lot of little irrational fears that made me like not want to live my life with them out of the house. Like, I mean, it sounds a little extreme, but it was just a whole period, and I was scared, and I was like, how can I don't want to handle like something bad happening to them. I just can't. And I ended up going to a psychologist, and she taught me something that I've always remembered and always try to remember. That is just that she said, so if you sit here and worry and spend every minute of every day worrying about it, and worrying and worrying and worrying and worrying, does that mean it's not going to happen? And I'm like, no. She's like, so say you sit here and just every day enjoy life, enjoy life, enjoy life. Does that mean it's not going to happen? And I'm like, no, it could happen either way. So why spend every day in that state? Because, and it's hard to surrender that and let that go, because if it ever happened, it happened, which that sounds horrible. But her point was that, you can't sit there every single day worrying about everything bad that's going to happen and then miss your whole day. So you can, but you shouldn't. You're worrying, you're in the future. If you are depressed, talking about depression now, that means in general it's things from the past. So you're living in the past, and we all do. I mean, I'm asking you to revisit your trauma. So it's like I said, moving through is okay, but living in all the time is what you don't want. So when you are depressed, a lot of times it's because you're not happy with something about yourself. I found that most of my anxiety I've had through my life was because I was shrinking who I really am to be loved. So I don't, it's not that I was ever not being me or being fake. What I was showing was always me. I just was not always showing it all. You know, if I knew there was something about me that someone probably wouldn't like, I wouldn't show that part of myself. So, I mean, I guess in some ways that is a little bit fake. So I never tried to act like what I wasn't, but I would kind of just hide away. And the more you shrink your whole self to be accepted, the more and more depression and anxiety you live with. Like, I spent a lot of years betraying myself and not showing up with all my parts, not showing the true me. I didn't want to show the whole me because I didn't think people could handle me whole and they wouldn't like me whole. So stress is who you think you should be, and peace is who you are. Another thing I wanted to talk about was ways to just make those deliberate choices to protect your own energy every day. This has been, they're all so empowering, but this one's been awesome. This part of my life, the last couple of years, is the first time I've worked in like a customer service type of job. And so I understand how that energy, negative energy, can just radiate and vibrate and not vibrate, just keep expanding and going and going and going and gaining momentum. And so that's something that, man, if I had been a lot younger or hadn't been able to use any of these tools, would have been a lot more hard for me. So the goal for this is to feel peace in times where you would usually have felt tension. So lots of times I'm in situations that my whole life have upset me so much, stressed me out so much, had me so worried, so anxious, so depressed. And now when I'm in them, it's not like that it feels good, but it doesn't feel bad because it feels as though it's like going on around me, not to me. I'm able to, especially when someone's like, say someone's coming at me kind of angry, I literally pretend I am in a bubble of white light. I do it every day. I do it every time I drive. But when I'm at work and the customer's mad, I'm in my white bubble of light. And when they're yelling or angry, or I envision that anger coming toward me, I always envision it just like bouncing right off of my light bubble. And it's not like I'm saying it like in a mean way, like I'm laughing at them or like, ha ha ha, you can't bother me. But it's in an observing kind of way. It's almost like, okay, you're just not affecting me. And it's powerful. It's really powerful. It gets more and more powerful the more and more you can do it around people that you are close to, love, and are triggered by. Because usually it's our closest people that are our biggest triggers, and our closest people that we could potentially have the most dysfunctional interactions and qualities with, because they're the people we've developed patterns with. So those are the situations that are the hardest times for me to always use all my tools about my white light bubble and those kind of things. But it's getting so much better, and so I'm getting more and more powerful at it. I would recommend some things you can do to start raising your vibe and start raising your energy levels to protect yourself from others' negative energy. Is just like I said, to envision yourself and protect yourself every day. Meditation is the best way to go. Meditation is like a whole thing. People are always like, I can't meditate. I just want you all to know, it's pretty much everyone thinks that and feels that, and I still many times feel as though I can't meditate. So I am not even a pro. You don't have to sit there for like an hour a day to be spiritual or to start healing or to start making your days better. For me, it's very hard for me to just straight meditate. I almost always do a guided meditation, or I'll do some sort of like frequency music, and I'll focus on the area of the chakra of my body that the music's on, and kind of focus that way. Different tricks like that. I also just every day for 15 minutes every morning, I listen to something on either YouTube or something. I love the Law of Attraction, just things like that I'll listen to. So I'll always have like a few quiet minutes, either a guided meditation or just my own time with like some music. And then while I'm getting ready, I'll always listen to one of those like really moving or life skill type, really cool Law of Attraction videos, just stuff like that. But those kind of things set my day so good. When I go in traffic now, it's been a really amazing trick. Gosh, I feel like I spent my whole life being stressed out in traffic. Like I always felt late, or even if I wasn't late, I was always frazzled feeling, or I was always in the car like trying to get there, or it was just like a whole feeling. And it's so funny now because I focus on the feeling. I focus on gliding into work safely or getting to where I need to go safely. I focus on just, all the lights being green, and just the way I see the drive, it just lays out that way. It's been crazy. There's only been maybe 2 days, 3 days in this last year that I've had a day where it was like a traffic day. Like even if it was trafficy, and even if it was like cutting it to the last minute, it was a flow. It felt peaceful. I wasn't worried. I just knew I'd be okay, and I knew I'd be there, and it worked. I would definitely say to start some sort of meditation practice, even if you start with just dancing and working out and trying to clear your thoughts. Clearing your thoughts is a whole trick also. I mean, I still, like I said, usually need guided meditation. But when you are meditating, that's the whole point, is to keep returning to your breath. And so it's like a constant, your mind drifts off, you return to your breath. Your mind drifts off, you return to your breath. And it can be annoying, and it can take a really long time. But that's the point of it, because after a long time, it just teaches you, it's the same thing you do in your life skills. So the same thing you do when someone's coming at you or arguing with you, and you put up your white light bubble and you keep coming back to that, and you keep coming back to that. It's the same thing with meditation. Your mind goes busy, and you just keep coming back to that. You keep coming back to the neutral ground. So try your best to protect your energy. When people are trying to take that energy from you and you're able to stay composed, it's so powerful. They don't like it. The point is not to piss them off worse, but that is going to be what will get to them far more than you arguing back. Far more than you arguing back. I can tell you that right now. I don't argue back, and it bugs people. So they're taking, if you're letting them upset you, they're taking your power. And then when I sit there and think about that, I'm like, no, they don't have control over me. They don't have any power over me like I do. So think about that all the time. Think about, you have the power to feel how you want to feel. When things are crazy around you, not within you, then you are free. That's power. So when things are crazy around you, but not within you, that is power. That is freedom. That's freedom. Okay? That's power. So have your power. Have your power. Don't let anyone take it from you. Don't let anyone make you feel like that. You're strong. You are. Even if you're not, you have control. Okay? You have control. So remember to trust your instincts every day, all day. Think about your instincts. Think about breaking away from the polarized, crazy world, and getting back to yourself. Remember to live intentionally. Be intentional in what you do. Every little thing, be conscious and aware of the little steps you take throughout your day. Try not to be in the past or the future. Anxiety is not being in the now. Try to remember that right now is the moment that you can smell the flowers, or that you can say I love you to someone, or that you can even just have a blissful moment, but not be stuck in what you have to do next. Let's be authentic to ourselves. Let's be our whole selves, our true selves. and just a deliberate choice to not let people take your power, to when they are looking at you and trying to take that, looking back and being like, you have no power. You have nothing to take from me because I have it. It's safe. It's with me. So try to keep doing that kind of stuff. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry for the delay. I'm hoping the next video will be up way quicker. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. And I really appreciate you joining me again. Thanks a lot. See you next time.